of the office hours. In this episode, we're going to do another lesson on NetworkLessons.com, and looks like this one's going to be on how we configure the BGP MED attribute. Alright, so MED is the 6th BGP attribute. It can be used to advertise to your neighbors how they should enter your autonomous system. It's exchanged between autonomous systems. The lowest MED is the preferred path. MED is propagated to all routers within the neighbor AS, but not passed along to any other autonomous system. Alright, it looks like we have 4 routers here. The first 3 belonging to AS1, and it looks like R4 is dual link single homed to AS1. It looks like one path is affected by MED 200 and the other is 300. So let's see. Let me copy this diagram over to GNS3. We're at 20. And copy this right here. All right. Here, lower this layer. R2 should be here. R3 should be here. Oh, F20 to F00. Here we have F10 to F20. And R1 and R3 are not connected. So I'll turn these on. And alright, cool. So let's configure R1. Interface FA20 with an IP address of 168.1 or 192.168.12.1 and with a subnet mask of /24. I'll shut this. Interface loopback 0 with IP address 1.1.1.1. Also a /24 here. We'll configure BGP with autonomous system of 1 and with a neighbor statement of 192.168.12.2 for R2 and remote AS 3 or 2. And that might be all. Oh wait, I still need to advertise the one network out. So network 1.1.0 with mask of a /24. Then over at R2, configure F20 with interface F00 with IP address of 192.168.12.2 /24, no shut, int F10. Let's see, IP address 192.168.2030.2 /24, no shut this, configure BGP with autonomous system number 2. I don't think we're advertising anything out, so we're just gonna input the neighbor statements. So for R1, we have this address. And for R3, we have this address, 23.3, remote AS 1. All right, and I don't think R2 is going to advertise out any prefixes, so I think we are done here. So I'll do a write mem, and I'll move on to R3. R3, we also have a loop back interface, so let's try configuring that first for once. We have an IP address of 1.1.1.3/24 and F20. That an IP address of 192.168.23.3/24. No shut. Configure BGP with autonomous system number 1, and we have a neighbor R2 with an IP address of 192.168.23.2. No mess, and we'll specify that the remote autonomous system number is 2. And I think we're supposed to advertise out the 1.1.1/24 network, but let's see how they do it here. Okay, they do it with the network statement. So network 1.1.1.0 mask 255.255.255.0, and we'll do write mem. Over at R2, we should see the 1.1.1.0/24 prefix come in from both R1 and R3, and by default, I believe R2 is going to prefer the R1 path just because R1's router ID will be smaller. But let's verify. Alright, so right now it is preferring the R1 route, as you can see with this greater than symbol right here. It still does see R3 in there, but what it installs is the route to router 1. Yep, there it is. Alright, so I'm guessing the lesson's gonna tell us to configure R3 with a lower MED value, because lower MED is the preferred path. Alright, so over at R1, we're gonna set a route map that sets the metric or MED to 700 on R1, which is this IP address, and R3 will do the same except with a lower MED value. So let's do that. So going to R1 first, create a route map with name MED, permit statement, and sequence number 10. We'll set the metric 700. Exit out of this configuration. Configure BGP 1, and on our neighbor to on our neighbor path to router 2, we're going to apply a route map of MED, which is the one that we created, and we're going to set it so that it affects outbound traffic. Alright, so 12.2 with route map MED. And write mem. And what is the default MED value? what does R2 even see right now? It doesn't see a metric yet, but if I do clear IP BGP star, it might update. Okay, so it's going to see the metric already, and unfortunately it doesn't really no, actually it did change, because before it was preferring R1 and now it's preferring R3 because the default metric or MED value is 0, and the lower value the more preferred it is, while on R1 we just configured it to have 700, so the preferred path did switch over. But it'll switch over again once we configure R3 right here with an MED value of 500 on its path to R2. So let's do that. Route map MED permit. Did I spell it wrong? I did. Route map MED permit sequence number 10. Set metric of 500. And we'll exit out of here. Go to BGP configurations. Specify for our neighbor R2. We're going to apply a route map. MED, and we're going to apply it outbound. Oops. There we go. However, at R2, it's probably not going to update unless I clear the BGP cache. So we'll do that to expedite the process. Clear IP BGP asterisk. Alright. And there we go. It's going to flip over to R3 as the preferred path for network 1.1.1/24 because its metric or MED value is lower than R1. So it's 500 versus 700, and 500 is preferred. And you can tell because there's that greater than sign right here, which indicates that it's the best path, which is the one that gets installed into the routing table. I think that's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching. I'll start up another session for looks like BGP communities. Cool. Thanks for watching.